With Chiron in the first house, there's a core wound around identity. Who am I? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. You might have been reared in a way, or you might have lived a lot of your life in such a way where, truly exploring the bounds of who you are, or really leaning into the person that you think you are, was not encouraged. You were restricted. You had to be a certain way. You had to act in a certain way. And Chiron level wound here, it's not just, oh, I don't really know what I'm into anymore, or whatever. It can sometimes be felt as real existential shakiness. Do I have a personality? What even am I? Am I just like pulling levers? Am I like a robot or an NPC? What do I really feel? What do I want? Sometimes at worst, Chiron felt here can just feel like you're scrambled. And that can feel very scary and lonely. And I think this is something to hit home on and to emphasize with Chiron generally is when you're feeling that Chiron pain, it's not just, ooh, this sucks, or ooh, this is hard. It can be very isolating and scary and dark. And the antidote is you can't run away from it. You have to lean into that. And for someone with this placement, stay moving, stay trucking, keep walking through that darkness. You are going to find it eventually. You'll find something. As long as you stop fearing it so much, you're fine. It's okay. You're not a freak. You're not a freak. This is part of the larger story of you. And when you arrive for maybe what you're looking for, you're going to be the wiser for it. Your empathetic gift is being able to help others see what makes them unique and see what their strengths are. And it gives them confidence. You can't see yourself very well, but you see and observe others with extreme clarity, and people really appreciate that. Chiron in the second house. This is, basic interpretation, Chiron in the second house, there's a core wound around what you had. You grew up poor, or you just didn't have resources, or you just have such a strong preoccupation with money and resources and what you have. And you might be living in such a way that you are fearful that you're not going to have enough. Maybe you don't have enough. You've inherited these ideas that this is kind of the life you're going to live. This is what you deserve. And so you sometimes limit yourself or self-sabotage yourself. You could also be someone that has become so obsessed with money that you've let everything else fall by the wayside. You have everything, but it's still never enough. You're still unhappy, and you don't really have any internal value system or compass. The common denominator of either of those scenarios really is an inability to define or claim your own self-worth, to really decide and believe that regardless of what you have, you are worthy. You are worthy to exist just because you are the person that you are. It doesn't matter what you have. It doesn't matter what you grew up with. It doesn't matter what mistakes you've made. You're still worthy. And it's so easy to get caught up in the hustle and seeing just lavish lifestyles and consumerism. You can fall a little bit prey to it, but to the extent that you go out and seek it and you think that's what you need, you're not going to address that pain until you really explore and start to tell yourself that you're just worthy as it is. Chiron in the third house. Chiron in the third house, there's typically wounding around your early education, around your thoughts about your own efficacy, your own intelligence, your own ability to solve problems. Sometimes it's an inability to express what you think, or it could be that you struggle to do routine or basic things, or traditional models of education, like doing well in college, or like working in an office job. Like those things are just, you struggle with it because you think about things differently. I think this one, it's tough because you have some unique perspective, but you've inherited a narrative which says that it's not worth sharing, or it's not worth pursuing, or it's the wrong way, or you keep making yourself feel like an idiot because you are walking on someone else's road that isn't really meant for you. So at the same time, you are so appreciative and encouraging of people that go off and learn, of people that do think for themselves and express themselves, especially when it's not popular. And you're able to encourage that in others, but figure out maybe or focus on how you can do that for yourself. Chiron on the 4th could be either deep-seated familial trauma or just an inability to psychologically, internally feel safe and secure and that things are going to be okay. So a lot of times that feeling is consistent with turbulence in the early family, or whether there's a broken home or abuse, or just like you didn't really get the nurturing that you needed. It results in kind of feeling like you need all these other things in order to feel safe. Maybe a partner, you think, oh, once I get the partner, or once I get the job, once I get the house, or if I could just get the validation and recognition from my parents, like things would be better. But it goes deeper than that. Sometimes can be this feeling that you're always like one step away from the rug getting pulled out from under you, and you're going to lose everything, and you're going to be alone and SOL on the street, or something catastrophic is going to happen. You are, as a result, such a beacon of light and love and nurturing to other people in your life, and you really, really understand how to be a good friend and commit and to really like love and nurture someone. And you would do things for other people that you have a hard time doing for yourself. Maybe sometimes think about that. When you're doing something very nice for someone, do you do those same things for yourself? And sometimes with this placement, it's a hard one, but it's just literally telling yourself, meditations, I'm safe, I'm okay, I'm protected, I'm safe like in my own skin. Chiron in the 5th house. People with Chiron in the 5th, there's core wounding sometimes with finding simple joys and pleasures in life's activities, like outside of work or school or family. It's finding ways to have real fun human experiences, to be creative, to bust out the crayons and just draw for fun, even though it doesn't mean anything or it doesn't bring money, or you're not going to sell it like a Banksy or something. Someone here they're either restricting themselves from experiencing sometimes just the lightness of life. They're sometimes taking too seriously, or else they're focused too much on the group or the external, that they've never just done fun things for themselves. They haven't learned to do those in healthy ways. Like maybe there's a hedonism, there's over-excess, there can be self-centeredness or narcissism or addiction sometimes, because the person is just not taken space to just do things that feed their soul. And so they can be either depressed, or they're just so self-focused because they're not being fed that they're starting to crave it in the wrong ways. These people can be really fun, they can be great friends, but they sometimes get themselves intertwined in a string of short-lived romances because they're looking for something to feed them, but they're looking for it in the wrong places and attracting the wrong people. Those are just some beginning things to think about with Chiron there. Chiron in the 6th house. For Chiron in the 6th house, there's usually a wound around doing just like the basic everyday life habit things to just put yourself in a good position to be happy and to succeed. Likely, there's a lot of things that weren't modeled to you that should have been. And so you're just not good at doing like the little things, maybe like taking care of your home, or keeping things clean, or doing those routine chores that like completely suck and are no fun, but it's almost like a snowball effect for you. You feel like you constantly can't get it right and everything is just chaotic. It's very hard for you to not feel just totally overwhelmed by the world. And sometimes you retreat, or you want to escape it, or else you are so service oriented and you will go and do and give everything that you have to friends or through your work, or you're so problem solving in other parts that you haven't retained any of that energy for yourself. And so you always just let yourself go and your life go. And this is one of those situations where it's about marshaling energy and reserving some energy for yourself, and sometimes a little bit like not tough love or powering through it, but just thinking about, is this the person that I want to be? Decide what life you want to live, and does that person do the things that you're doing? And sometimes I think that can be really helpful towards just flipping the switch and creating a new paradigm, because sometimes the self-reproach and the oh shit and the guilt snowballs and you get a little bit trapped.